I think when you'll play the game, you'll see that it's just fascinating. She's such an active character, so grounded in her center of values. She makes decisions quickly. She's very interesting to watch. And then with New Orleans, it's a place I think that's underexplored for how interesting it is. And so it's wonderful to be able to pick up the game and explore these, the mysterious bayou and the streets of New Orleans and see these historical events that maybe you never even realized happened. Because, of course, in Assassin's Creed 3, in New York and Boston, they're dealing with the English, the Loyalists, the Patriots. But us down in New Orleans, what we have is the French and the Spanish, and of course the universal assassins versus Templar story. She's very smart. She's very active. She makes decisions very quickly. She's very concerned with true justice, finding it and enforcing it. The story has an aspect of a quest for personal identity about it. So this is the persona system, and it's a very core element of the game. And it's not merely putting on different outfits. It's really adopting a different persona. And so whether she's in the assassin persona, the lady persona, or the slave persona, she has very different things that she can do. She also has different challenges that she comes up against. And so it very much changes also the way she relates to people and how they respond to her. So, for instance, in the assassin persona, you have all the usual, weapons and skills that you're used to having as an assassin, but you're highly notorious in the city. If you change into the slave persona, you have better blending options. You can pick up a crate and walk past guards. You blend in with workers. You can even incite a riot to draw attention elsewhere. Then as a lady, you are wealthy and loved. The guards almost go out of their way to try not to hassle you. You can charm and bribe them. But you can't run as easily, you can't climb, you have a reduced weapon set, but you're still very dangerous with your hidden blades. Yeah, when they will follow you, at which point it depends why you need them. Perhaps you want a bodyguard, in which case they will help you fight off guards. Perhaps you merely need them to lure them away to a quiet place where you can assassinate them unobserved. So it's really up to you how you use the ability. Yes, we do have missions, certain missions where it's definitely more efficient to play one way or another, or we want to introduce you to the challenge of playing in one persona. It will be set, but a lot of the time it's up to you how you play, which persona you adopt most of the time. I mean, you could spend most of the game as a lady if you chose. You could spend all of your time almost as an assassin, but it's very much up to you when you change, and it's about which environment you're going into and what you need to get done, because some personas are good for some things but not good for others. Yeah, well, as I said, a lot of the research had already been begun before we got there. We do a lot of our own reading all of the time, before we write, while we're writing, after we have written, to make sure that we didn't get anything wrong. We also have access on staff to a historian in the Montreal studio, which is enormously helpful when we are having trouble finding a detail. He can always help us, point us in the direction of good information. What do I like most in the story? I love Evelyn herself. She's a character that you can rely on and sympathize with, even if she sometimes doesn't always make the decisions that you would that are necessarily. What am I trying to say? She's someone who acts definitively and therefore will sometimes go against orders, maybe even make mistakes. She's very human, but she's still very capable. And I think she's really the best part of the game.